one in particular that stands out to me in my career was an assignment that I actually particularly didn't want to take, but that lent me a lot of experience in a realm that I didn't have before taking over the assignment, and that was to help shape policy initiatives, protocol, processes around deploying civilians downrange for the very first time after 9/11. So that gave me a lot of experience and visibility, and it also required a degree of trust on behalf of my leadership team, who I guess saw capability in me and knew that I could take on this new initiative, even though I might have not been at that rank or level that probably normally would be leading an effort like that. So it gave me a lot of experience. I learned a lot from other folks in many different business areas, especially in our operations piece, the critical piece of how our agency functions, and that really helped kind of launch my career in the beginning as a civilian federal employee. I can think of 3 specifically, and they're equally important to me in my career. So the very first one I'd want to say is my chief of staff for an intelligence agency that I worked at would often very publicly state, even in his town halls, in his public forum discussions with employees, that if you've been on the job more than 1 year and you have not taken a risk and made a mistake, then you're doing something wrong. And I really took that to heart. What was nice is that it started shaping innovation all around the agency. And so with him being so public about that, it really helped shape how my philosophy was going to be as I move forward in my career. And the second piece of advice is to never self-opt out. Don't deselect. So you may think that you might not be up for a new challenging assignment or a new promotion perhaps. Maybe you don't have all of the elements, but you have some or many. Think through not applying before you do that. And so that was a really great piece of advice that one of my mentors and leaders gave to me, is to not self-deselect. Put in for it and go for it. You never know what might happen. And the last piece of advice that I'd like to share is from one of my favorite mentors. I have many, but she always used to tell me, make decisions based on where your head, heart, and feet all feel planted in the same place. And if you do that, you'll be successful throughout your career with the decisions that you make. Being overwhelmed is common in any new career, in any new job, in any new opportunity. But I think to trust yourself and to really pay attention to what inspires you and what your passion is. Because I think you can find little elements of that throughout any job or any opportunity that you actually have if you just listen and pay attention. And the other thing is folks like to look for mentors in senior leadership positions, of course, because they're successful and obviously they've made their career move such that they landed in those kind of positions. But you can learn from people at the peer level. You can learn from people around you. You could learn from folks that are coming in right after you. And I think there are learning opportunities to figure out how to manage an environment that might seem overwhelming, but that you might glean a lot of important experience towards your next step, next move in your career, if you just look around. There are a number of resources, both within the organization that a new employee would belong to, but also outside. Certainly OPM has a lot of resources. In fact, they just created an HR university that has clear competencies and pathways that kind of plot one's career through the life cycle of what a human resources professional would look like. And that's being adopted in many different ways across government in some of the other systems that we're putting together. I think also staying attuned to what your chief learning officer is doing, finding out about those professional development opportunities. So oftentimes folks want to advance and they think about advancement in terms of a promotion, a different job, or a progression in the grade that they're already in. And there are a lot of opportunities to take on professional coaching opportunities, professional development, interagency opportunities, because the government's really focused right now on growing this concept of enterprise leaders. and that requires people to get outside the box. So I really think that if they pay attention to those sorts of resources and look around to find out what's available, and also, no matter what your career occupation is, a wise piece of advice that I always adhered to was to become an expert in managing your own career. So learn the federal HR rules, even if you're working in budget, even if you're in IT operations, if facilities. Learn the policies that drive the decisions around your career life cycle. It's really important. Well, there's a number of reasons. I'm a small town girl from Maine. I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I have had and the experiences that I've achieved if not for the United States government and also the military. And it got me out of my comfort zone. I found actually that working for the government is innovative. It's all about choices though. And for me, looking forward, the future of government, we need a diverse and inclusive workforce that brings diversity in thought, diversity in talent. And the way our mobile government, mobile technology solutions are moving, that's going to help overcome some of those socioeconomic barriers that exist to really attracting top talent from wherever. And I think that folks that are looking at government as a first career move need to give it a chance. Come talk to us. Come intern. Learn what we do on a daily basis. There's a lot of exciting things that the government is doing to shape the services that we deliver for the American public. It's a great place to work, great mission, and it's very fulfilling. It's very rewarding.